and the man decided he could live with a three-legged dog. In other news, tempers have been flaring in Ephesus. We go down to Dor, our correspondent in Ephesus, for an update on the recent rioting. Dor, can you tell us where you are and give us a brief summary of the issues that are pertaining to this rioting?
Yeah, Nevik, thanks. Yeah, I'm here in front of the Temple of Artemis where there was some significant rioting, and things are quiet right now, but it was a much different scene earlier in the day. Basically, it boils down to economics and religious expression. I've made some notes from my interviews, and like most conflicts, there seem to be several sides here. So on one side, we've got the worshipers of Artemis, the patron god of the city, who feel marginalized, and along with her supporting religious industrial complex represented by the Silversmith Guild. On another side, we have the Jewish sect known to some as the Way. You may have also heard of them, Nevik, as the Christians. And on another side, we have the imperial government. These riots are basically a disruption of Pax Romana. And while Rome is generally tolerant of religious expression, as we all know, this tolerance only goes so far. All is well as long as you practice your religious and economic interests on a personal level and you don't rock the boat too much, so to speak. As for all religions, go ahead, sing, pray, and offer your sacrifices, but don't speak out against Rome or do anything that messes with the status quo. And for the guild, that means stay in your lane, make your stuff. Maybe you can make up for some of your lost income by selling little Jesus statues. And finally, we've got the local Ephesian government who would really rather avoid any imperial complications.
So, Dor, what started this rioting?
Well, it seems that the Christians have somehow disrupted the trading of Artemisian paraphernalia, statues, icons, and various kitschy, souvenir stuff. The guild maintains that they are under economic duress, can't make a living anymore because the Christians won't buy their products. The guild is also claiming that the Christians are against freedom of religion and that they are anti-empire. They're calling them the anti-Ms. The Christian counter-protesters, if you can even call them that, simply maintain that they don't need the material trappings of temples, icons, or kitschy little statues and souvenirs. I know this is going to sound crazy, but they claim that their own bodies are temples and that there is nowhere they can go where their God is not present. So basically, they don't need statues and temples. They can worship wherever and whenever they want. I've also heard that people think they're cannibals, so this is a wild group.
I understand that tensions rose to a point where there was some violence.
Well, Nevik, there certainly was the threat of violence. One of the Christian spokespersons, a certain Paul of Tarsus, wanted to address the rioters, but his followers prevented him from doing so, fearing that he would be putting himself in danger.
Well, it appears, Dor, that all things seem rather quiet now. What happened?
Well, the mayor of Ephesus sent the city manager out to deal with the crowd. He addressed two concerns. One was that if the rioters continued, it wouldn't take long before imperial troops stormed the city. Another key point was that Artemis is so great that ultimately business will return to normal and the guild will recover. Basically, he posed the scenario where If Artemis is as great as we think, then there is no real threat.
So, how big is your God? And is your God big enough?
Nevik, that is the question. And the Guild, at least for the moment, is convinced that Artemis is big enough, and they have stepped down their attacks.
Well, thank you, Dor, for your report. And when we return, we look at the huge surge in the local bacon industry.